If you were a horse, they'd shoot you.
Welcome everyone to another Literalist reaction video. I'm Dave. With me, as always, my green and red friend John Doe. John, did you see how professional that was? I just started it like it's a regular thing that I do all the time.
Yeah, almost rehearsed. It's amazing. Well,
Oh.
hello, fellow humans.
Howdy.
We're all here together.
I realize my mug says thank you for being a part of our success today.
Which is true.
The other side is some home improvement company.
No. The other side says literalist reactions.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't say peace of mind home improvements.
No, it definitely doesn't say that because we're all about the merch.
Mm-hmm. What do we got today?
I don't know. What do we got today? Let's do a little trivia. Ready for trivia time?
Sure.
All right, let's do some trivia. I'm going to read you the question first and then give you your multiple choices.
Works for me.
Okay. Here's your question. If Rene Descartes and Andre the Giant were combined into one person,
Okay.
which of the following sayings may have been coined?
Oh, hold on. I mean, we have I think therefore I am guy with does anyone want a peanut? So, man, I don't know, but I'm super into the concept. All right, go on.
Darn you. Your choices are no man is a faulty thyroid gland unto himself.
Nope, but it's funny.
The half Nelson is mightier than the sword.
Nope.
I think, therefore I slam.
There it is.
There it is.
That's good. See, I went Andre the... Yeah, what was the fourth one a good
Nah,
one?
that ain't worth it.
So I immediately go Andre the Giant from Princess Bride, not Andre the Giant the wrestler.
Yeah, he's a professional wrestler.
I was trying to come up with a good Rene Descartes and Princess Bride Fezzik pun.
Well done, Dave. You nailed that one even before I gave you your choices in a way.
Well, I mean, it's Rene Descartes. I feel like that's like the one thing everyone can say about him. Oh, Rene Descartes. I think therefore I am guy.
Okay.
He wrote a lot, actually, but...
You underestimate how smart you are, and I'd like all of our fellow humans who didn't know who Rene Descartes is or that he said, I think, therefore I am, to let us know there in the comments so Dave doesn't get so smug.
Let me tell you that Rene Descartes did, I think, one of the strangest things in all of philosophy. And it makes so much sense. He was having a real existential crisis because he couldn't prove he existed. And it was really bugging him. And so he went to a cabin, a house, whatever, by himself and just sat and thought for like a really long time in silence, which I think is how you go crazy.
It is.
And he probably went a little crazy and then wrote his famous, I figured it out. I can prove that I exist. I think, therefore I am. That's where it came from. But I don't know. I think, and sometimes I'm not sure I am. So, I'm not sure.
And I prefer my own version of that, which is I drink, therefore I am.
I drink, therefore.
And sometimes when people ask me how I'm doing, I say I am, therefore I drink.
Some days, John. Some days. Well, we got a more Rush today. Back to the Rush.
Yep,
train.
it's Rush Day, and it's a story song. We were just talking about story songs, and you love your story songs.
Do
this is a story song with a chase scene. You're gonna love it.
Okay, a story song with a chase scene.
Yeah. Well, let's get to who requested this, and this was a popular one. Of course, it's Rush, so it's going to be a popular one. But for Rush, Red Barchetta was requested by, can't find it.
You'd think you'd be professional. Have it all
Michael Ripley, Todd Parsons, Real Alaskan Legends.
Well, I hate those fake ones, so thank you.
Yeah. Coils for Foil, River Alf, myself, and a lot of likes, pluses, and me toos in there. So this is currently the most requested Rush song.
Really? All right.
Yes, we cleared one out the other day, so this one's on top now.
Got you. All right, Rush. It's not Red Corvetta. It's Red Barchetta. No, a Prince reference. You weren't loving it, John?
It would have been Little Red Corvetta.
Oh, close enough.
And that's a sex song.
Oh.
This is one of my favorites.
I gotta turn the volume up. All right. So every week he steals his uncle's favorite car. That's kind of fun.
I never took it that he was stealing it.
He was taking it for a joyride. I don't think
taking it for a joyride.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So one of the small things that I really appreciate about good writing, whether it be lyrics or books or really anything, is when you attribute an extra descriptor to a thing that you would think doesn't quite go, but it works. So here we fire up the willing engine. There's no reason he couldn't have just said, so I fire up the engine and it responds with a roar. Instead, it sounds so much better to say we fire up the willing engine. I love little tiny nods like this to good writing. And yes, it might be a song and it's also got excellent music over top of it, but man, so often there's just little tiny things just peppered throughout lyrics that catch me off guard because it's just such a wonderful visual. And here you almost get an audio with it. And I know this is literally an audio medium, but he's firing up the willing engine with the roar and like you feel it, or at least I do. I'm a very visual person. And I think that's one of the reasons I like story songs so much, because I watch it in my head. I don't need to watch the video of it. I can watch this story in my head as I read a book or as I listen to these lyrics. So fantastic, as always, lyrically so far, but not sure what it's about outside of a kid having fun, hanging out with at his uncle's place.
Well, you
hop on the train and.
Okay, you're missing a part though. You've received a few clues, but I think it'll become clearer as you go.
Excellent. Well, first, instrumental. I could see the word.
In my head, shifting and lifting, mechanical music,
some harmonics for you. Oh, beautiful.
That was a beautiful bow because this song started with those harmonics.
Yeah.
I always love that when you wrap it up, you harken back to the intro in a song. I mean, as usual, Rush blew it out of the park musically. I tried this time to actually count things like tempo changes. I nope, nope,
Well,
I'm not good enough.
you know, oddly, this song stays in 4/4 kinda for a good bit of the song, but it uses syncopation and it trades bars on the measure, like 4/4. There's 4 beats to a measure, right? Well, some of its measures were 2, and some
that's
were
why it's
6.
confusing.
Yeah. So it does a lot with the phrasing that makes it sound like it's not 4/4, but it still kind of is 4/4. But then it slips into a 3/4, and there's the syncopated rhythms that really urge the song forward, as in the motion of the vehicle, and it carries it. It makes it seem like it's going faster, even though the tempo doesn't.
See,
really
and
go any faster.
I'm not advanced enough to catch that difference. It just sounded like tempo changes to me, so it sounded like it was all over the place. In a good
Yeah.
way. I mean, as usual with Rush, like still very tight, they're all together at all times. Yeah, fantastically done. Lyrically, I think this song's about the future.
It is. You caught it.
Yeah, I think that first of all, is a Barchetta a real car?
A Barchetta.
Barchetta. See, that's how
The
close I am.
Barchetta is actually based on a real car. It
All
is based on, I have it here somewhere. It's right there. Red Barchetta.
Go on.
A small boat is what Barchetta means in Italian. And it was based on the 1948 Ferrari 166 MM Barchetta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's out there driving. He's definitely not supposed to be. The turbo train that he jumped on could have, been something interesting. Maybe a hover train. I don't know. In my brain it was. And then of course he meets the air car. I assume once again a hover car.
Yeah.
And then he chased it back. I personally like to think that this is a odd future. Maybe nuclear fallout has created giants. And that's why it's dangerous for him to be off of the farm. That's why he had to speed by the giants down the 1-lane bridge to get back. He left them in the dust. So that's part of the fun to me about story songs is just seeing the story. And I don't know if that's, accurate or what the writer intended there, but that's how it played out in my head. And it was a super enjoyable ride along. The car is definitely red, obviously, which evokes speed. If you didn't know this, John, in Warhammer, the orcs, they paint their vehicles red, and that makes them go faster. And because they believe that it does, it actually does.
Oh.
It's a real gameplay mechanic where the orcs just paint their stuff red and it goes faster. Anyway,
Interesting.
that I think entered into my brain a number of times with this red fast car driving around. So super fun story song. I would be shocked if someone didn't make either comic book or something like that out of this story song somewhere.
Yeah, I believe the official Rush video for that includes a storybook kind of a version of it.
I'll have to go watch that
but-
at some point then, because I want to see their interpretation of it. I'm very curious.
I'll tell you what, for a song that came out in 1981, and Neil Peart predicts motor laws where combustion engines are outlawed,
Mm-hmm.
basically is what he's inferring in those lyrics. But he pulled that out in 1981, that combustion engines would be a no-no, kind of the way they're getting now.
I mean, they should go away. Realistically, we should have had electric cars in the beginning. Electric cars have been around since the 19 teens. They're
Right.
certainly not new. Unfortunately, the gas-powered car went out because of various shady back-store
Economy.
reasons.
Economy.
No, actually, it's because of a marketing push. They were marketed as a woman's car.
Okay.
Electric vehicles were marketed heavily as a woman's car, and it was considered unmasculine to own one. That was the original solid marketing push because women weren't
Okay.
strong enough to push to crank. Because you remember, you had to crank a car
Yes, you had to
turn on the
crank your
engine.
engine. Yeah.
So yeah, originally the electric car was marketed heavily to women, and it was considered unmasculine because obviously a woman couldn't turn a crank. So electric cars are for women, and so unfortunately that ended up. Then market forces take over because men, the primary drivers, especially in the 19 teens, refused to buy electric cars because it wasn't seen as masculine. Then obviously they all bought internal combustion engines and blah, blah, blah. Now we live in the future. We do. But yeah, we could have had electric cars. We could have skipped internal combustion engines
Well, you
nearly
say
entirely.
that, but Dave, even with the technology and our abilities now, we can't come up with a battery that one can last long enough for you to drive anywhere. Two is
That's
not a
not true.
fire. They're getting better, but you
go
don't
like
have the
hundreds of
range.
miles.
You don't. You still have better range in a Ford pickup truck than you do in any electric car.
Well, sure, but by a couple hundred miles and it's insanely more expensive and pollutes the air. So, like, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. But also, never forget, technology is often driven by what's being bought.
Yeah,
Don't
true.
you
I
don't you
don't
think if
argue.
like if we
I-
had been pushing electric technology from the 19 teens, how good would our batteries be right now?
Right.
Probably
And
amazing.
marketing has resulted in other bad choices. For instance,
Diamonds.
you don't remember this because there was a time when Sony, the Handycam, 8mm Handycam, was in a market war with the JVC VHS camera.
So I only know about the JVC. It's the only
don't-
thing I've only ever seen one. I didn't even know there was a different one.
Yeah, well, there were two different technologies.
Hmm.
The Sony was a smaller tape and yet provided higher resolution.
Sony's a
The
good engineering
JVC
company.
and longer record times on the tape. The JVC, especially when they went to the handheld,
Mhm.
used a mini cassette which you had to put into another adapter to play in your VCR. Okay,
I've seen those.
tapes, yeah, they
Yeah, I
ran about
remember
20
those.
minutes, a half hour, right?
Mhm.
Superior. Sony was superior in every way, including visual quality.
Mhm.
JVC won. Sony had to give up. Why? Here's
Marketing.
why. Sony said, this is how many lines of resolution, by the way, better than 480i, better than the present day television technology. Okay, this is the lines of resolution. This is the quality of the mechanic. This is that. This is the lens, and this is that. JVC said, look, just one button.
Mm.
Look, easy to use.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I can tell you from working in a lot of technology in my professional life. Yeah, it's frustrating to work with people that don't take the time to understand it or just struggle with it. It's not quite how their minds are built. So if I can have one button and then I cannot have the headache of constantly having to fix problems and teach and correct, then yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. So people went with what seemed to make more sense to them. Hey, it's easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'll pick it up more often. And, back in the day when I was in the retail trade in the electronics land, I would ask people a question, what's your comfort level with technology? And, are you more likely to pick up a camera if it's only got really basically turn it on and hit a red button? Because maybe the right one for you is the one that doesn't have quite as high quality. And I would remind them it is, though, the quality of picture your television currently offers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're getting fuzzy. You know what I mean? You know where I'm
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
But my goal was to get people what they would actually use. What good is it to buy a device that stays in the closet? You know.
None at all. What a
Right.
waste. Well, either way, fun song. I mean,
Playlister.
fantastic. Would definitely listening and will be listening again because I want to go see their comic book video of this song
And
specifically.
you'll want to
So,
see that live, and you'll want to hear that song a lot because honestly, Dave, that is a Rush classic right there. You just got
yeah, it was extremely good. Keep the suggestions coming. I'm really enjoying this a lot. We've had very few songs that I didn't like, and I have always been honest, and I'm sure
Yep.
we'll have more. And I'll be honest.
Yep. Yep.
So I think there's still a bunch of Elvis people mad at me, which is fine.
Well, that'll be the first discussion in our next talk on Saturday.
I look forward to it. Oh yeah, if you have any random questions, we're gonna do a once a week Q&A now. So have at it.